Hey, this is Mo, and this is episode 49 out of 100 micro power packed episodes giving you what you need to succeed to grow your book of business, your relationships, and your career. As you know, this is the fourth out of 5 episodes where we're really dialing it in, talking about relationships. The prior couple episodes provide great context for this one. Go back and check those out, especially the 3 immediately previous to this one. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about how to add value. How do you add value? And what's interesting is this builds so powerfully on the past couple episodes where we talked about how to write down the most important relationships you've got, how to focus on the future versus being anchored on the people you already know and like, and they already know and like you, which is going to be everybody's bias. Tons of great value in that. Go back and check those out. So how do you add value? Well, of course, I want you to add value in a commercial sense. Do great work, over deliver, get things done early, do all that stuff commercially that's going to make you successful. I'm going to assume you're doing that. That is the most important thing to do. Start there. If you don't add value in what you're paid to do, obviously you're not going to deepen relationships in a profitable commercial sense in the way that's going to help everybody. But I'm going to be really clear. I'm assuming you know how to do that based on your profession. If you don't got that, just quit these videos now and go back and tackle that. But I'm assuming if you're watching these, you got that licked. Now, let's talk about how to add value in non-work or non-commercial ways. It's not necessarily non-work ways. It's in ways outside of what you're paid to do. That's probably a better way to say it, in non-paid ways. This is so darn important. In the last episode, I talked about how a lot of professionals stall out at a stage out of 7, the 5th stage that we call solid working relationship. You're hired for X, you do great work around X, you stop, you go away. Don't do it. Add value in non-paid ways. How do you do it? Well, I want you to think about engaging. If you're stalled out with somebody that's at solid working relationship, or if you feel like, yeah, I do great work, but I sort of go away, if I'm honest, I want you to actually engage in the conversation about how you can be a trusted advisor to the other side. It's usually done face to face, Zoom if you've got to do it. But generally speaking, let's say that you can have dinner with somebody or a more intimate conversation one-on-one over Zoom, whatever it is. And you might say something like this. Now change this for your own style and based on the context of relationships and all the other stuff. But I'll give you something you can sort of copy, paste, tailor, and make your own here with this verbally. You might say something like, hey, Janie, wow, I have really enjoyed working with you on this particular project. You know, a lot of my really long-term relationships, I add value outside of what I'm directly paid to do. Examples of that are blank, blank, and blank. Now give specific examples. They might be helping somebody with their career, sending thought pieces that come across your desk, helping in ways that are around skill development for that, all kinds of stuff. And what you'd say is with those 3 examples, makes it really practical, but give a key 3 examples. Once you've done that, say, hey, I would love to know as this project winds down, I would love to know more about where you're heading in your career, the kind of things that you want to focus on next. And if we could have a dinner or a half-hour conversation over Zoom or something like that, if I could learn a little more about where you're taking things in your career, then I could look for ways to be helpful around those. What do you think? Well, you're going to get, if you've done great work, you're going to get 99% acceptance on that little request. Now, once you're at dinner, once you're in the Zoom call or whatever, just ask tons of questions. Figure out where the person's been, figure out where they're going. Use the gravitas model that we've talked about in some prior episodes. Ask some amazing questions about where they're taking things next. And then use that magical phrase, would it be helpful if? Well, gosh, would it be helpful if I sent articles that are around that topic when they come across that desk? Hey, would it be helpful if I introduced you to somebody who's actually made that career transition before that I've worked with? Hey, would it be helpful if I blank? What that's going to do is it's going to give you lots of immediate follow-ups that you can execute on over the next couple of weeks and months. But more importantly, when something does come across your desk, or if you've got some idea on a run or whatever, months later, it gives you the opportunity to follow back up with them. Now, look what's happening. Because you have made the offer to go from 2 steps we call solid working relationship, doing great work, but confined to the work you're paid to do, to trusted advisor, trusted advisee relationship, you're naturally going to get into that, but you typically want to ask for it or offer it, that's going to go a lot faster than if you just wait for the world to happen to you. Those are ways you can add value. The other way is once you get to raving fan, once you get to trust advisor, then you can ask for the person to be a raving fan. Then as you add value significantly outside of directly what you're paid to do, alongside great value with what you're paid to do, then you can ask somebody to be a reference. Once they do it once, they're more likely to do it again. And that's how you go from step 5 to 6 and 6 to 7. Ask for it, but do it in the right order. These are all kinds of ways you can add value. So, trap to avoid. Trap to avoid is not asking for these next steps. Your key takeaway. Engage in that conversation. And I'll give you a pro ninja tip here too. Your pro ninja tip is become a collector of things that you find interesting. It's a different topic, but related. We call that an asset list. I use an app called Pocket. There's a million others. You can use the Google, anything that saves URLs. Use Apple Note, an Evernote, a Microsoft OneNote, Google Keep. I use Pocket. It doesn't matter. My Mind is another one. Just use an app that saves URLs, anything you want. What you do is anything that you find interesting, that's your litmus test. Don't worry about other people when you're collecting assets, but just anything at all you find interesting, save it in that one place. And what you'll get over time is dozens, hundreds, I've got thousands now of assets. So when I'm thinking of somebody, when I'm looking to add value, and it's sort of in these interim times that are not based on specifically where they're going to take your career, whatever, but I'm looking to say, wow, I want to stay top of mind. I want to add value. I can do a quick skim through the app. I can find something I thought was interesting. Might have been 5 years ago, but if I save it, if I'm a collector of assets, I'll remember it. If I don't save it, there's no way you're going to remember something 5 years later or some specific article. You're just not going to do it. Your mind's not detailed enough to do that. But if you save everything that you think is interesting in one place, then you'll be able to peruse that from time to time. And as you just look at those dozens, hundreds, thousands of whatever assets, you'll quickly find one that you can send somebody that's aligned to what their goals were. So that's a great way to activate this idea is become a collector, have an asset list that's super frictionless, that's super easy to use. And that's a way that you can prompt yourself to add value with people over time. It creates a system of adding value, if you will. All right. So, hey, what I'm going to do is I've got a great interview that I did with somebody named James Barclay. He's a senior executive at Passel, one of the best social media, or one of the best content, not social media, sort of, but one of the best content creation apps I've ever seen. And makes it really easy to create your own content, things like that. And James Barclay is one of their senior leaders. And what I'm going to put down in the show notes is an interview I did with James about specifically how he uses a protomoy list, your first among equals relationships, and how he uses an asset list and how he keeps top of mind with people. Really cool stuff. I'm going to put that down in the show notes. So if you want to go deeper, that's a great one to listen or watch to go deeper on this particular topic. All right. As with all of these videos, I hope this one helps you help your clients succeed.